Hi fellas, ladies, how are you? Hope you're all okay. So I started working away and I've been crafting away on this, as you know, behind, which is, I don't know if you can see okay, but that's the kit we are working away on. So I've been working away on that, fighting away should we say. I don't know what it is, I really don't know what it is with me and aircraft. I've just either cursed or I'm just totally shite at doing aircraft kits, which is probably the latter. It's a bit weird really if you consider that when I first started modelling I started with wingy things. I don't know, strange isn't it? Anyway, by the by, so it's been a bit of a dog of a kit to be fair, again. I just can't seem to find a kit at the minute, apart from the Spitfire that I did, the Edward Spitfire, which was just beautiful, that sort of falls into place and you don't need to do any sanding or no fit issues or something. Now I know obviously we're openly learning all the time, which is great, but I just for once would love a kit that I've really been excited to build and get into not cause me any issues. So, like, I've got planned another two, let me just see, no, another 3 aircraft kit, well, technically 4, but the way we all build at the minute and life issues, I don't know if I'm going to get that many done this year, including with the armour that I want to do. Pardon me, sorry. So, you know, it's given me, one of which especially being my most favourite aircraft of all time, because I've had the luxury of seeing one, well, it wasn't a luxury at the time, mind, but I've actually had, you know, to see fly over top and open fire, and wow, and they nickname it the Flying Tank, and a lot of you World War II guys that are into all that type of thing will think, oh bloody hell, not another jet. But those of you that know me will already know what I'm on about, and of course if I go brrrrap, you'll know exactly what I'm on about. It's the A10 Thunderbolt, the Warthog. I know Nige Wells has just done a kit review of the same kit that I'm hoping to do. I did actually buy Joe Bentley one, so Joe's got one, and we did say we'd do a buddy build on it. However, Joe's not really into he's just not at the bench building plastic at the minute. I'm not saying any more because it's not fair, you know, out of respect for Joe. It's up to him to say if he wants to. So yeah, so, and I've got a few little bit of extras for it as well, some goodies, so it's just sort of crumbling me a little bit, you know, with confidence wise, to think, do I really want to go ahead with that and balls it up, and you know, but I suppose that's modelling, isn't it really? That's the enjoyment of modelling, you know, or well, say enjoyment, you know, so I don't know, but anyway, by the by, that's sometime later in the year, so we're talking about this at the minute. Yeah, what a pig. Scale, is it scale Hangar 182, scale model Hangar 182, David, Polish chap, who's actually a published modeller now. He's had a few of his builds published in magazines. It's just an incredible scale Hangar 182. Check him out. I'll see if I remember. I'll put a link underneath here to go to his channel. It's just incredible, and he built this a couple of months ago or a few months ago, and it just, if you watch his video, it just seems to fall to parts, just fall into place for him, and it's just. Now I don't know whether or not it's because I had a few bits of aftermarket to it, and my experience with aftermarket is not that great. You know, if you're wondering why I got this, sorry guys, it's hot. I get really hot dead easily, so I have to keep what's it in, you know, wiping. Sorry. Cheers. Sorry, boys. So yeah, so you know. And like I say, I'm not really that experienced modeller, so it could be that, you know. So, but anyway, I suppose it's enjoyment and stuff, and all that type of thing that you call it, and you learn. And but as you'll see in a minute when I show you, it just doesn't seem to. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not after sympathy votes, you know. We all go through shit kits, don't we, and all that type of thing. Sorry, younger kids that are watching this, I didn't mean to swear. Actually, I did mean to swear, because that's what this hobby drives you to. Drives you to split personalities in like insane things, you know. Split personalities in white coats, and split personalities in... Some people say I've got split personalities. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. So, sorry, bad joke. Terrible joke. Right, so yeah, it's... what can I say? Let's carry on about it first. So yeah, it's 148 scale. It's a Showtime 100. It's Randy Cunningham's aircraft, which if you've seen my update 1, I've posted pictures of Randy. Now, a few people have told me about his presidential, shall we say, and his sort of politics sort of side and what he's done, which I know. When I was doing my research, I know about all this, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm not building because of his politician side, because obviously he was a bit of a dipstick as a politician, but you can't take away from him what he did in Vietnam. So that's what I'm hoping to, you know, do and rediscover, sort of thing. That is actually Randy's aircraft on the front, and that's what I shall be doing. That's the call out I'm trying to do. So let's have a look at the kit, shall we? And I'll show you whereabouts it's all gone wrong, and where it's starting to come into place, etc. It's the first time I've started with re-riveting and re-scribing work. I've never done it before. I bought a few tools recently just to try it, you know, just the cheaper sort of stuff, the sort of scribing tool and bits and bobs, but I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah guys, so see you in a minute at the bench. Bye. Right guys, we're back at the bench. Right, okay, so this is where we are with where we've got to. Yeah, like I say, it's been a bit of a pig. I've used all the way round. I mean, if you can see, I mean, I've had to use filler all the way down the seam, through the middle of the fuselage, then down into the cockpit and into there. I've had to use a bit of sprue goo on the side of the cockpit there because there's a big gap. When I attached the wings together, there was a massive gap on this one side of the fuselage, but there wasn't on this side. So with me being inexperienced, I was trying to think for the life of me how I could sort of get the gap out of that side. So this was my ingenious plan, and it seems to have worked. He says, I've never taken it off yet. Yeah, that's not too bad, so that's good. On this version, you had to get rid of, there was sort of some sort of panel line on there, I think there also, and also there. When you look really careful, I mean, you might be able to see it, in fact you can see it on camera there, how it's dipped sort of in, because I've been, again, in experience shows there where I've taken way too much sanding in. So the wings, you sort of, you add the bits to it. Let's see if we can get it in the instructions, see if I can show you. So these are the instructions. I haven't decided to put the pilots in at the minute. I thought I'd leave them out. The seats turned out okay, but if you look sort of carefully through the hole in the headrest and the seat, you could see all the gapping down the side of the back of the sort of seat. Now I know I'm being picky now, but like I said in my last video, I seem to find myself getting a bit more picky now with detail and stuff, and I really don't want to get myself that way, but obviously I suppose, you know, who cares, it's my build I suppose. So yeah, the wings, so yeah, sorry, that's what I was going on to you about, wasn't I? So that's the version we're doing here, which is version 1. So if you look on, where are we now? Here, it shows you that you have to remove sort of the bits of the like sort of vent type things that are on the kit. So what I did, oops, sorry, knocking the camera. So what I did for that was I'll just move that and then knock this coffee over as well. So professional. So I don't know if any of you have used these yet, but they're Master Tools or Trumpeter, to give it a better name, or Hobby Boss, whichever one you want to use. And they're like sort of mini files. And they're very nice actually. I'm a bit of a tool tart, and I have to try new tools when they come out, unless they're ridiculously expensive, like your Tamiya bloody sprue cutters. And they're like files, look, at the very, very end. Can you see how sort of fine that is, right? You've got that size, and then you can get all different sizes, and I'll just show you the sizes that I've actually got. I've got sort of a round one. Now these I've only just picked up this last week, and it's after I've done all this work. So this is the one that I actually had to work with, which I don't know if you can see the ends. It's sort of like teethed like that. There you go. I don't know if you'll see that. How's that? Is that any better? Okay. So of course, with them being metal as well, they can bend a little bit at the end, but not terribly, not massively, you know. So it recommends that you can get your metal files and sort of go across the, you know, and sand them back into shape. Obviously on the other ones that haven't got the sort of like pronged teeth ends, then you don't have to do that. But so I used them, and then I've used, which I've got to say are so far, and this is just my opinion, so before I get shot down and all the occult jumping on me and saying how dare you diss a certain manufacturer, I absolutely love these new sanders from Flory Models. Now everybody I seem to watch or see on YouTube say always go to a certain brand, which I won't mention, and they always seem to go to these and try these, or I can't think of the name, are the Expo or whatever they're called, tools, sanders and stuff, which are sort of these type of things, these really, really thinny sticks, and you get all different colours with different grains on them. Well, I've had them from the very start of coming back, before I knew anything about Flory Models and certain other manufacturers and stuff. So anyway, what I did is I thought I'll sign up to Flory Models for a month and see how they are, but I'll also just get that pack of sanders where I think they do for £9. They do like one of every single sander they do in a pack, which I think is brilliant, and perhaps I think two of another, you know, I think, or not. So anyway, now these are the two that I actually love more so, is this sort of sponge, which you've got two different grains on the side, I think, or it's probably the same actually, it's just me being a knob. And then you get, and this one, which is quite a more grainier one. I'm not very good with the grits and lay, you know, and the, you know, 5,000 and 500 and all that stuff. I haven't a clue about all that, so I'm just telling you how I find it. And then you get one a bit thinner here, a bit sort of coarser, and I love these two, they're brilliant. And then you've got like your weathering sort of, you know, to make it all smoother over, and then your polisher on the other side, joined in with these. And also just two more, where have I gone now? They also do like a thinny stick, one of those of them, you know, like the polisher. So I've had that for a while and I've used that for a long time. So obviously the ends were getting battered, but I mean, that's nearly 3 or 4 months worth, and look at that, it's still almost pristine really. So what I've done is I've chopped it up, so I can also use the middle bits as well to get into finer bits. So I use that, and then also these are Expo, I think, or something like that, tools. So I use them as well, which are good because you've got like a point, but they come off quite easily, the grits, so they aren't great. So accompanied by that, and of course my excuse me, my scalpel. I've tried to get them bits off, and of course through inexperience, I've done a bit of a boo-boo, but you know, shit happens, doesn't it? So anyway, and then underneath I've had to add sanding sort of filler to the bits and bobs around there. I'm a bit gutted at the back where the engines will slip in. This sort of nice bit of they've got here. So let's see if we can get better lights for you guys. I've had to file through, and because it's like sort of stepped, I don't know how to sort of, without taking more off, I suppose. So anyway, that's a little bit of a bugger there. But apart from that, I was quite happy. Now, these things at the end you've got to be careful of as well, which I haven't done a proper read up yet of the whole aircraft, so I don't know if these were sort of radars or machine guns or what. I don't know. I'm guessing they're probably machine guns or something. I don't know. But I've actually I invested in, you know me and my books. Well, 2 more I've showed you on the intro to this what books I'll be using, but also 2 more have turned up. Now, those of you that follow me will know I love my Haynes Manuals, so I've got that one, and I've also got this one, which is obviously what Randy Cunningham was actually in. So, you know, I have gone through some bits, but I still haven't properly checked what this is yet or anything, you know, at the back. So, you know, I'll get there eventually, and I'm sure you'll probably be screaming at the screen now to tell me, but I can't hear you. Anyway, so I've got, for the inside, I've got the Edward zoom set. So I don't know if you can see. Let's see if you can see it. See if I can get in there. Can you see? Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Ooh. Right, so I've got the zoom set in there. Okay, so it's not brilliant, you know, and I'm not particularly great, like I keep saying, but you know, it's not terrible. It adds a bit of detail for you and all that type of thing. That bit's come off, so I've got to add that back on. So I'll do that. But yeah, it's alright, it's a good bit set. I tried something different. I tried the pre-shading and that on the inside of the cockpit, and I didn't sort of go over the grey sort of very well, so I'm going to sort of hand paint the bits that you can see with some Vallejo model colour, because when I've been sanding and that, as you can see, there's filler there, but also as well on the back of the seats, can you see? I've had to fill in there because I'm being really nickety-pickety. You can see like gaps there and that, and I figured out how the hell can I get my sander in there now. So obviously I've now got to go through and try and sand that back a bit more, but you know, we'll get there, we'll do it. I did, those of you that I talked to outside of YouTube and all that will know that I've nearly spat my dummy out about this a couple of times, and I've nearly quit. And I was going to start the MiG-31, the Hobby Boss Foxhound, but I thought, no, I'll stick to it. It's not beating me. If the bloody Lancaster bomber's not beating me, this dinky tiny little thing's not beating me. So yeah, so rescribing you won't see very well, but it had all line panels across there. So the rescribing tools I've used and I've invested in, which I was quite chuffed with myself for actually, because I've never ever rescribed before or anything. So I sort of got, I don't know if I've still got the, no I haven't, I'm afraid. Anyway, the like sort of photo etch fret it comes like, and it comes, and this is it, and it comes with all different shapes and that, and they bend, so you can sort of bend it around and all that type of thing, and then of course you can put different shapes in and whatever, you know, into it. So I bought them, which I loved. As you can see, I've been using this one a lot. I must admit, inexperience, of course, it is quite difficult to get it bent round there and stuff, but that's for me from inexperience, but there you go. I must say thank you to Nige Wiles, because Nige gave me the link for the proper RB barrels, RB production, sorry, riveter. I did have this one, the trumpeter one, but when you're sort of going down a panel line, you sort of lose vision of where you're going because it's quite big. I mean, it's okay, like, it's not too too bad, and on bigger subjects I'm sure it might be a bit better, but and also it seems like quite tough, so you know, you have to really sort of dig in. You get several different blades to add in which aren't too bad, but you know, so I invested in this RB Productions bit, and there's another wheel that I got which I tried out. I'll show you. I tried getting one of the blades off this Trumpeter one, and I thought, I wonder if it'd sit in sort of this blade here, and funnily enough it does, but it's very, very wobbly, so you know, and I just need to tighten it more, but I just haven't got round to tightening it yet. So, and the other thing I tried doing, which I'm sure it does work actually on sort of straight panel lines, but again it's a bit big and you have to be extremely careful. But I don't know what if you got these abroad or anything, but in Britain we have wallpaper cutters, which are these things, and you can cut wallpaper with them and stuff. So I thought I'd try one of them, and they do actually work. You just got to be a bit careful, you know, because these are razor sharp as well. But just for a straight panel line, you know, they're not bad. But I wouldn't overly recommend one of them. And then I bought a few of these Chet Masters sort of razor blades, because I've seen people use them for panel lines. But I have tried a couple of times with that, and it's not great. So my go-to one was this, my Trumpeter one, my P cutter, which I do like. I have got the Tamiya one, but I haven't really used that very much yet. But people do say, well, they prefer it's either or, isn't it? And then I don't know if you know, like the dental tools and stuff like that that you can get. Well, I do actually quite like these things for sort of rescribing as well. You know, in difficult places and that, they're not too bad. And also these are for like adding your rivet dots back in. I thought was quite good. But I actually got a I think this is a Vallejo one. I didn't know Vallejo actually did a riveters, but yeah, I got that just to try it, and I'm actually been using that on here for the rivet details. So yeah, that's been using on that. So that's the riveting tools I've been using. So all in all, bad is outweighing the good at the minute, I'm afraid, for this build, because it has been getting, you know, it has got on my nerves a bit, but I think that's because I've been tired and all that type of thing, so I've sort of let things get to me a bit more. Excuse me, guys. Oh, another sanding tool I've used as well. I've just got some of these, because I keep seeing people use these sanding sponges from Tamiya, so I just thought I'd just get one to try it, and yeah, they're alright. You can cut them to the shape that you want and stuff. So the filler I've been using, I always use the Vallejo filler. I love it because you can work with it with water and stuff. And then of course you go to sprue goo for the smaller areas, and that I've used. So they are my two fillers. I was going to try the old CA, your super glue and some talcum powder, but I didn't really want to try that too much because it's I don't know, I'm just not very good with that. So I've also, for the first time on this build, used the Tamiya immediate stick stuff just to try that, which has come good actually on some parts. And then the sort of every type of day glue, if it's not the, you know, if I need more time to work on than extra thin, I use this Plastic Magic stuff. Or of course you go to Contact a Professional. But I must admit, I do like the, excuse the arm across, the Deluxe Materials Plastic Magic, because you do get a bit of a longer brush as well to use if you want to, instead of just your normal smaller one, so you can get in the finer gaps. I do use that for the Tamiya bits as well sometimes. And yes, I know the Tamiya extra thin brush extends at the end. The super glue I use for the photo etch bits is Deluxe Materials every time. You get different time zone ones for the super glues, which are great. That's your immediate one, and you have to be careful with that because it's as runny as hell. And the amount of times I've stuck myself to myself is untrue. So that's one you have to be lethally careful with. Yeah, so that's where we are with that. The seats, the cockpit seats, the next parts I'm on at the minute are, I've just basically stuck the nose cone together. There's no sort of radar in there, so you can't sort of have it in between. So you know, you can't sort of have it open or anything. I mean, I'm sure there's an aftermarket set you can add or something, but so that will have to be worked on and sanded, because I've just got to cut the nibs off properly and that. And I've just noticed now how it's stuck, there's a bit of a step in it, but of course we'll get rid of that. So there's that. And then I've started cutting out the engine nozzles at the end, the exhausts. I'm just using the kit ones because they're fine, you know, they'll do for what I'm at the minute, like I say. And then the seats, I've got these as these are the actual kit seats. I primed them and started them, but again, I thought like the detail wasn't great, so I decided to buy some resin ones. So I got these off eBay and they were very cheap, but I haven't got them out yet. So, and they'll just need a tad bit of cleaning up. They're the quick boost ones, but they are very well detailed as well. So I shall add them in and paint them up soon. And then I've got the wheels to add, and I also got some, because the zoom set of the inside of the cockpit doesn't come with any seat belts with it. I bought some seat belts, but then of course I forgot that I got the resin seats on the way, so so I got these. But I've tried these super fabric ones for a change, but they're actually they're F-4J ones. And I have been after saving up for one of those Tsukimura kits, so I might try and get the J version of that. And then of course you've got seat belts for you, but I know they come with seat belts anyway, but the photo etch ones in the kit. So, but yeah guys, that's where we are at the minute. It's coming along. It's not great, you know, like I say, it's got its problems, as I've told you. But you know, we'll get there. I'm sure we will, you know. So I'm going to try and keep up with it and keep going. I just don't want it to sap my mojo, because obviously the Panther build, my previous one, sapped my mojo as well, and I just really don't want to get to the stage where my mojo's sap for everything. I mean, my next tryout, if that goes, will be Sci-Fi, one of the Bandai kits to try. So we'll see. So yeah, I've rambled on enough now as usual, so I'll go now guys. So I'm hoping this week to do the next instalment of Me, Myself and Styrene, which those of you who follow me will know is basically a series all about me and my modelling life. So I think I've got which part I want to do next. I know I've had loads of requests to go through the stash and stuff like that, and my cave, so everybody can see what all this cave is like and where my stuff is. So I will tell you, it's going to be one of them. Okay, so I'll leave you guessing for now. The other thing I wanted just to say as well, which are great if you ever get the chance to buy any, are these. These are good for doing like your seam lines down the middle of your fuselages, because you can bend them in so they actually, you know, they sort of like blend and adapt to the actual shape. So they are very good of your fuselage. They're very good. They come in different types of they're like an aluminium frame, and they're very, very, well, they're nice really. They're lovely, like a chrome frame I think, and they come with different grades. You can change these bands, and all you have to do to change them is just basically lift it off like that, or they just basically, I suppose it won't work now, but they can actually unvelcro them and just take them off, you know, on some of them. So there you go. Right guys, bored you enough now. I apologise for rambling on again, but there you go. Hope you're well, hope you'll stay safe. Please check out Models for Heroes. It's a great cause for people like myself with PTSD, but not as but people that are a lot worse than me. I just can't sleep from time to time, but there you go. Right, hope you're well, hope you'll stay safe, and may the force be with you. See you guys, bye.